Just wanted to promote it. Hey y'all, good evening. So, Merry Christmas. First of all, it's December 26th, but I didn't see you guys yesterday or the day before. So, if you celebrate Christmas, I hope you guys had a happy, safe, and healthy Christmas. And I wish you the best of luck in 2021. May 2021 be kinder to all of us than 2020. So today I wanted to show you guys volume 2. It's finally come in. I also want to show you guys Lilliputian Living, which is also finally come in, and the new and improved volume 1. I also want to read the Kirkus review to you guys. We submitted volume 2 to Kirkus for review. You want to tell us what Kirkus is and why Kirkus is important?
Trade publication. They specialize in reviewing books, and it's one of the stricter trade publications. So a lot of libraries, for instance, won't even purchase a book if it doesn't have a Kirkus review.
So Kirkus review is a pretty big deal, and I haven't read it yet, but Joseph read it already, and I wanted to kind of do a live reaction with you guys for that as well. So as a self-published comic artist, an independent publisher, somebody who doesn't have a company backing her, she doesn't have an editor backing her, she doesn't have a design team backing her, she doesn't have a publicist, an agent, a merchandiser. You know, as a small-time comic artist, you've really got a lot up against you if you want to go into self-publishing, or if you even don't want to go into self-publishing, but you find that that's the route that you've gone. So I wanted to share kind of what I've learned in this process with you guys. Not 100% in-depth, that's for my wonderful Kickstarter backers, but, you know, some of what I've learned. And I also wanted to kind of share my triumph, big or small, with you guys. So we ordered about 1,000 copies from Versa. How many went to ShipBob? I know 100 went to ShipBob, and 948 came to us. And earlier this week, we spent about half a day getting books off of the truck into a garage, and then from the garage into a Flex and a Jetta, and then from the Flex and the Jetta into a climate-controlled storage unit. So they're all safe there. They should be protected from the elements. It's climate-controlled, so they do have AC and humidity control going on in there. And I kept 5 boxes of books here at the house so that I can sell them through the shop easily, or, you know, if there were some, I don't want to say a show because I'm probably not doing any shows this year, but you guys know what I mean. Like if there was a reason for me to be selling books, I'd have some on hand. I wouldn't have to go down to the storage unit for them. So those of you who backed the Kickstarter, some of you have already gotten your books, which is fantastic. I'm really excited to hear that and surprised at how quick that went out. But if you haven't gotten your book yet, you might want to check and make sure you filled out that backer survey. We've got a couple people who haven't filled out a backer survey, and we can't get your book to you until you get that back to us. So check your Kickstarter and make sure that you filled out your backer survey. All right, so you guys see here, I have 2 stacks of books over here on copies of Lilliputian Living and the older proof copy of 7-inch Kara Volume 2. Over here on my left are the final copies of Lilliputian Living, a revised copy of Volume 1, so this one is new and improved, and the final copy of 7-inch Kara Volume 2. So I guess we should just go ahead and take a look at Volume 2. I do have a vlog that I'm going to share with the Kickstarter backers in the future that kind of talks about like the books being delivered and our initial thoughts, things like that. But this is my first time having a chance to share this live with you guys because this came like 3 days before Christmas. So I had no time to talk about the books. All we could basically do was make sure that they arrived in good condition. There were no dings, no damages, and get them packed up and squared away so that they would be protected. So one of the first things we noticed is that the cover printed really pretty dark. And we did take precautions to ensure that it wouldn't print this dark. Now that I'm looking at it under the supernova bright white lights of my studio, I'm like, oh, that's disappointingly dark. But the inside is, what do they say? They say don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, everyone does, they're buying books, but inside looks really, really good. and we went with a FTC certified, or FSC, sorry, FSC certified paper. So this means it comes from sustainably sourced trees. It's not coming from rainforest trees. It's coming generally from trees grown and raised on tree farms in the US. I actually co-own a tree farm with my brother, so I know a little bit about what that process looks like. And it's on this really, really nice glossy paper stock. It's like magazine kind of stock. So the colors are just beautiful on this paper. And we went to a lot of effort to make sure that the colors would print correctly. We had to do a lot of page by page revising and then double checking against the color gamuts. And we really put a lot of work into volume 2. So Joseph, you should be proud of yourself for how beautiful volume 2 ended up turning out. And this is a heavy book too. Like it's thinner than what we expected, and I'll show you that compared to the proof, because the paper it printed on is really thin but really dense paper.
It's not really thin.
It is really thin. I'm looking at it, and it's pretty thin. It's dense though, because the fibers are more compressed, and that's one of the reasons you get the really nice print quality. And since you did most of the numbers work, Joseph, when we went with Versa, how much did it cost for us to order 1,000 copies?
1,048 or 1,000?
Well, we ended up with 1,048 because 48 of those were overages, right?
Yeah.
So how much did it cost for the 1,000?
Yeah. I'm still not sure I understand your question. Are you including the revisions?
Yeah, sure. Let's get, yeah, because we did have to. I think anybody is going to have to do some revisions unless they have like a history of.
$7,520.
Wow. So wait, what? $7,520.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit over what we initially were trying to raise on Kickstarter, but that's including the revisions. So if we hadn't gone a little over with the goal, we would have been eating that, because then you got to take into consideration the cost to ship it, and then the cost to ship it from us.
Freight.
That's including freight? Okay. You still have to keep in mind the cost to ship it to people, though.
Yeah.
Because Kickstarter, I believe, counts the shipping money in with the total raised. So volume 2, we've made a lot of significant improvements over volume 1. We printed volume 1 with CreateSpace, and like I said in some of these other streams, there's some limitations to printing with CreateSpace. So for example, this revised volume 1 was printed through CreateSpace. We did actually ask Versa about printing it, and they never got back to us. I think they must have just missed that email, because it was really important to me that volume 1 and volume 2 really match. But Joseph did a really good job syncing these two up so that they look like they're in a series. But with CreateSpace, there's still a lot of significant limitations in terms of printing. Like, we don't have access to the glossy paper. You can't do interior cover printing the way you can do interior cover printing with Versa. I think we still have those random 4 blank pages at the back of the book, which I've never been a fan of, but that's a CreateSpace problem. Whereas Versa, you get, if you can hit that signature, and they'll tell you what signatures you're looking for, what page numbers you're looking for. If you can hit that page number, then you're not going to get any bonus white pages at the end of the book. And price-wise, how much does an individual copy of volume 2 cost for us to buy from Versa? It's like $3 something.
$7.52.
Oh, sorry, $7.52. Compared to, this is about $9 here, and it's half the size, and I would say not nearly as good a quality as volume 2. So I'm really happy with Versa for the most part. Again, I really feel like the cover printed too dark, and we just did not find that out until we literally received this, because they sent us those comps that I had to send back, so I can't show them to you guys. But it didn't look like it was going to be this dark in the proof. So just keep in mind, if you're printing through Versa and you're doing like the matte cover, that it's probably going to be darker than the proofs, and you may want to adjust for that and lighten that up a little bit. So over here is the proof copy, the first proof copy from Versa, the one that really freaked me out because the colors were just like all wrong and dark, and like this one, that's because they're basically printing this on the kind of printer that could run through a regular Epson printer rather than the type of paper we were actually going to be using. And since I've never printed with an offset printer before, I didn't know to expect that, but apparently that is pretty normal. But I really appreciate that they sent follow-up proofs that were more color accurate, but we still had to do so much color adjusting between this proof here and our final book here. As you can see, a lot of these pages are just really, really dark. And they were kind enough to send it back to us. I asked if I could have the proof back for like as a memento, and they were kind enough to send it back. So I do appreciate that. So this is what volume 1 looks like. Like I said, if you back the Kickstarter, you should be getting your books, fingers crossed, soon. I'm going to list these in the Natto shop really soon. So keep... No, they're already listed. Oh, so if you if you were not able to order a copy during the Kickstarter, you can actually order a copy now. And we have them so that we can actually fulfill now. Makes that good book slap. You know what I mean? When you're like flipping through a big book and the pages go whap, whap, whap. And it smells like a bookstore, which is what I want. It was really important to me that it smelled like a real book. I mean, we've spent so much time and so much energy trying to get this just right. So something else I have to share with you guys, and I kind of think of Lilliputian Living as like the bonus book because Joseph is the one who really put, I mean, I did all the art and most of the writing, if not all the writing, but Joseph is the one who really put the extra time in to get Lilliputian Living into a perfect bound format because originally it was only available as handmade zines. And while these are nice, and zines definitely have their place, and I love zines, and I love making zines, you know, it's harder to convince someone who doesn't even know what zines are that they should spend their hard-earned money on a little floppy handmade book like this. You'll get people who will be like, oh, I could print something like that at home. And it's like, yeah, you could, but you either have to create the content inside of it or you have to pirate the content inside of it. So totally make zines, and I encourage you to do that. But that's a different topic. So it's a little harder to convince people to buy these, and sometimes it's a little bit easier to convince people to buy a book that looks like what they think of when they think of a book. And I'm really excited about this one because this is like manga sized. It's going to be about manga priced, so about $10. And I think they did a pretty good job with the print quality. We had some concerns with how they printed we had some concerns with how they printed the grayscale stuff, and that's not necessarily something that readers are going to be really bothered by. It's just something that bothers me because I'm the creator. And Joseph had to do so much work fixing, I mean, we both did because I had to fix like at least half the illustrations had to be corrected because you could see the blue lines underneath. But he spent a lot of work adjusting the print, how it's actually laid out, so that the calendars are legible somewhat in the spine. So if you look closely, there's like a white edge there. That's so that the calendar doesn't get just eaten up by the spine. And some of these illustrations had to be adjusted for the same reason. This is the proof copy from CreateSpace. It says right on the front, not for resale. It is full of notes that I made to myself on how it needed to be corrected. I'm going to try to find one of the calendar pages to show you guys. Yeah, see? So, and this is a CreateSpace issue and it's an InDesign issue because neither flagged this as a possible issue. It took getting the proof and seeing it and being like, oh, for us to be like, okay, we got to fix that. That isn't going to work. So what they did is you see there's no white line there. The print goes into the spine. They didn't accommodate for there being a spine. And that's because CreateSpace really doesn't care about printing or publishing your stuff. And if it turns out like poop, they don't care. Whereas if you work with a printer, their name is on the line. They do care. Oh, Bowie is hungry. He's got opinions tonight. So, other than, oh, and Lilliputian Living will also be available in the Natto shop. It is available in the Natto shop. Yay! And Ship Bob already got their copies, right? So
They did, but they haven't gone out.
they haven't gone out yet. So if you were one of the backers who did the Lilliputian Living set, yours hasn't shipped yet because ShipBob hasn't shipped it yet. And before I kind of go into the Kirkus review, I want to talk a little bit about ShipBob because I haven't actually seen a lot of other comic creators talk about ShipBob. So most comic creators, when they're kickstarting a comic on Kickstarter, they do all the fulfillment themselves. So all the books come to them, they buy all the packaging, they do all the shipping, they get everything ready to go out. And that, for many creators, that eats up weeks of their lives and it eats up their house. We decided, since I'm somebody with ADHD and I do need that extra help sometimes, we decided to go with a company that will do that for us. Now, one of the downsides is I can't personalize the packages the way I wanted to, but the upside is it's going to go out to everybody way faster than even if I didn't have ADHD, I would be able to do. And it's going to go out consistently, and it's going to end up being more affordable than what we figured we could do ourselves. So ShipBob handles packing the books, and they're going out in these cardboard book sleeves that are going to protect your books, and fingers crossed they're going to come to you in beautiful condition. I know USPS is having some difficulties right now, so I can't 100% guarantee that your book's going to come to you in beautiful condition, but it left ShipBob in beautiful condition. So they're arriving in book mailers, and that's going to be true even for people who ordered Volume 1 and for Lilliputian Living.
I can show people on Tuesday when ours comes in.
Oh, cool beans. Oh, we actually have one coming to us on Tuesday, so I can show you guys what to expect. Hopefully theirs will be coming on Tuesday too, though. People who ordered any other packages, your books are going to come to you separately, and I'm going to personally fulfill the rest. So if you did the charm package or the You as a Lilliputian package or the postcards, those are going to come separately, and I'm still working on fulfillment for that. So I'll keep you guys informed as to how that goes. Some of you guys have already seen sneak peeks of the art that's going to go on the postcards. I still need to design those, and part of that big Christmas paper craft thing I did recently was to generate more paper craft designs and tutorials to go with them for the paper craft package. So I have been working on, gee whiz, kitty cat. I have been working on fulfillment. It's just a lot of stuff to do, and it takes a while, but y'all have been super patient with me, so I'm going to keep on plugging along with that. Okay, so next I wanted to read the Kirkus review to you guys. So I have it signed in. And where can I actually see, oh, view file. How long ago did you send them a copy of Volume 2 to review?
I would say 2.5 months.
2.5 months? And we had to pay for this review, right? It's not, you don't pay for a good review, you pay for them to look at your book at all. Do you remember about how much the Kirkus review cost? We paid $350.
Normally $4.25, I think.
But it's normally $4.25, and that's because we're members of the independent book.
They have $75 off deals occasionally.
Okay, so they do have deals? I mean, because we could have them review Lilliputian. No, probably not Lilliputian Living, but maybe Volume 3. And like we said earlier, a Kirkus review is important if you want libraries to be able to carry your book. Not like just the library in the area where you live, where they might be willing to carry it because you're a local creator. But libraries across the country do check the Kirkus reviews to see what they have to say about books. Okay, so this is my first time reading the review. Joseph said there was one truly negative thing they said, and I'm going to read that to you guys as well. Okay, so book review. In this second collection, Hilburn returns to the story of adventurous Lilliputian Kara and the complications that arise from her friendship with a human. Let me put my glasses on. Inspired by tales of small folk such as the Borrowers and Gulliver's Travels, Hilburn's comic book adventures follow young Kara, a precocious Lilliputian girl who lives with her parents in a dollhouse at the back of a vacant property. This volume picks up after Kara ventures out to find a human family moving into the big house near her home. Kara bonds with teen Naomi, but must keep their friendship a secret from her own father, Rowan. Raised to distrust and fear humans, Rowan has resolved to abandon their home despite his family's reluctance. When he sustains an injury, Kara's mother, Meldina, must bear the brunt of moving preparations while also attempting to convince her husband to stay. Kara sees little recourse but to spend as much time as possible with Naomi as possible while she still can. The Lilliputian girl finds herself torn between two worlds, the modest survivalism of her own people and the strange comforts and excesses that Naomi offers. The one thing Kara wants, to stay in her family home and keep her new friendship, seems impossibly out of reach. Hilburn renders Kara's world in vibrant visuals with lovely use of watercolor and with much attention given to the details of Lilliputian homes and lifestyles, and readers will find it delightful to explore. The cast is likable while having realistic flaws, and the author explores genuinely intriguing conflicts as she raises the stakes of Kara and Naomi's friendship. The girls both struggle with loneliness and isolation, and the narrative doesn't shy away from the power imbalance caused by their size difference. The pacing can sometimes feel awkward or static, especially conveying a lot of emotion, but Hilburn's art throughout is adorable and vivacious. The book offers a detailed breakdown of artistic process, from scripting to thumbnailing, painting, and digitally correcting finished pages. It provides a fun window into the book's creation and will encourage aspiring cartoonists. Overall, this work is sure to enchant young readers, up to a charming series. That was very nice of them. That's some of the nicest stuff people have said about my book.
It took 2 months to get the review.
Took 2 months to get the review. So what that review is going to do for us is, if we were to reprint volume 2, if we sold out of all 1,000 copies and needed to reprint it, that would be a great place to put that. Most books have a Kirkus excerpt on the back of the book. We can also use it when we're trying to convince schools to add it to their collection, or to convince public library systems or even private library systems like at hospitals or at colleges to add it to their collection. And this is also, that kind of a review is also searchable, so librarians who are looking for graphic novels for young readers in full color, Kara might pop up with that review. And it's really important to me because although my work is all ages, I want people of all ages to be able to enjoy it. I make these comics so that there are comics for younger readers. When I started 7-Inch Kara, comics for younger readers were either manga, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love manga. Or it was like very action, like violence action oriented storytelling, frequently with male leads. And I wanted something that, while there is an action and adventure component, it's a very gentle adventure component. And a lot of the conflict resolution is done through getting to know people and trying to find commonalities and trying to get over biases. Boy, and this year, that is particularly important this year, dang. So I'm really grateful that the Kirkus review was able to see what I was trying to do. I 100% agree with their assessment regarding the pacing. That's something like I've known in my heart for a while that I need an editor. Like I do, I need an editor. My work would be so much better if I had an editor. It would be so much stronger with a dedicated editor who spends time helping me resolve the work and also helping me take it to the next higher level. Like I'm doing a lot by myself, and an editor would really help me, I think, have the breakthrough I need to be able to make the work I should be making. And that's not necessarily, you can hire people to be your editors, and that's something I've considered, but I also have not encountered anybody who is like a freelance editor for the kind of work that I want to do, and I'd really like to work with an editor who is already familiar with Kidlit, already really likes graphic novels for kids and kind of believes what I'm doing already, rather than me hiring a friend who doesn't really like the kind of work I make, but they need the money, so they'll try. You know, I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying I'd rather it be like a really good organic meetup rather than, and I mean, if I'm working with an editor, they're getting paid by their company. This isn't necessarily about, I don't want to have to pay for this. Like if I had a friend who really loved Kara and could provide really good editorial insight, I'd be happy to pay them. It's not about that. It's about someone who like genuinely enjoys the work and wants to see the work grow and wants to help me make a better story. So I 100% agree. Joseph has done his best to help me out with the book. He's a wonderful beta reader and he often copy edits my work but it's been hard for me to consistently find people who can edit the chapters as I'm working on them, especially in 2020 when the world caught fire. Hopefully 2021, things can settle down, and people might be willing to have time for that again. I mean, I've gone through several batches of friends who beta read volume 1. It's amazing. It's as cohesive as it is. So anyway, that was a very nice. I'm glad she picked, I'm assuming it's a she, I shouldn't assume. I'm glad the reviewer picked up on what I was trying to do, because sometimes I wonder when I'm posting it as a web comic if like people there are people who get it. Like, I'm not pretending there aren't, but those are people who talk to me, so I know they get it, and no one else ever talks to me, so I don't know if what I'm trying to put out there is coming across. But it's nice to read that it sounds like what I'm trying to put out there is coming across. So that's great. So anyway, I am really excited for volume 2. Oh gosh, I kind of wish this could be a convention year, because it's really important when you have a book launching that you can use that excitement to kind of propel yourself and so that you can meet new people. It's a real shame that volume 2 happened to come out the year we got hit with a pandemic, but that's about on brand for my luck. So, anyway, if you'd like to order a copy, you can do so through the Natto shop. If you cannot order a copy, if you can't afford a copy, I 100% understand. If you'd like to read it, something you can do that would be a ginormous favor for me, and I would really appreciate it, is you can actually fill out a book request form at your local library for 7-inch Cara Volume 1 and Volume 2 from Becca Hilburn, and that'll let your library know that there's interest in this book. So you're not only helping me, you're going to be able to read the book, and you're helping me introduce this book to people who would enjoy it as well. That is one of the best favors somebody can do for me, and it's something I literally cannot do for myself, because as a creator, you're not supposed, they will throw away forms for your own books that you filled out. They will also throw away forms from family members who have the same last name as you, because it's to prevent people from gaming the system, basically. So only you can help me out with a library request form. All right, guys, I think that about does it for this live stream. I didn't want it to be like this big long thing. I just wanted to show you guys the books that have come in, share them with you guys, because I've been trying to share my triumphs with y'all. And I just wanted to also read the Kirkus review for y'all, because I know when it comes to self-publishing, there is not a lot of information, and me and Joseph really had to do a lot of digging to find out what we know. I know some people do share information, like there's like Google Docs and stuff that make the rounds, but generally, like regarding like the Kirkus review, like I've never seen someone self-publishing a comic talk about getting a Kirkus review. I've never seen somebody self-publishing a comic talking about getting back of the book blurbs, which is important. And I was terrified to ask, but I'm really grateful that the creators we did ask were generous enough to take the time to read the book and share a blurb, because it does make it easier to convince people to give it a shot. You'd think with it being like a web comic, they would know for themselves, but not necessarily. So, and I'm sure there's like lots more self-publishing stuff that we found out after we joined the IBPA, or after Joseph has done so much research, stuff that like self-published prose book people will do, but we don't know to do that in comics. Like the information doesn't quite bridge the gap. I mean, I'd been a member of SCBW, the Society of Children's Books Writers and Illustrators, for 3 years. I got the newsletter every month. I went to the meetings, and they basically treated self-published anything like we were trash. It took them a long time to kind of warm up to us, and they never shared this kind of information either, because when you're being traditionally published, your editor will handle a lot of that. Your publicist will handle a lot of that. The publishing company will handle a lot of that. So it's like, I'm not saying you don't do the work, but you're doing different work, and they're handling a lot of the work. And when you're self-publishing these things, yeah, you can write whatever you want to write, but you're going to be doing a whole lot of extra work too. So anyway, and I will also post links that you guys requested. I'll read through the chat, sorry. I lost track of my thoughts. I'm sorry. You'd think I'd be good at streaming by now, but my brain just went. Anyway, I'll post links in the Discord after I close out this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope the rest of your December is safe and comfortable and warm and as much as possible. And I hope I'll see you guys again soon. I do want to talk to you guys not during a stream. I want to talk to you guys about the hiatus I'm taking in January, but that's going to be a vlog following this. And on Monday, fingers crossed, we are going to do a chill stream where we finally break out that loom and figure out how to use it. So if you're just looking to hang out and kind of have some chill vibes, you can join us on Monday afternoon for 2 people who have never done any weaving trying to learn how to weave. So have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.